The Democratic Alliance has begun the process to have President Jacob Zuma recalled. For more on this, I'm joined by DA leader Mmusi Maimane. Thank you so much for coming in to talk to us this afternoon. It was, of course, a groundbreaking judgment for you, but it didn't call the president's conduct specifically a serious violation, serious misconduct, or suggest he's unable to perform his functions as a president. Did this judgment go far enough for you as a party?
It certainly did. In our view, earlier in the remarks that were made in the judgment, the Chief Justice Mogoeng says that, in fact, the president failed to protect the Constitution of the Republic. That, in fact, he sought to undermine the powers of the public protector. And, in fact, the actions of both the president and the National Assembly were inconsistent with their job, which is to protect the Constitution. In our view, how can you then have a president who cannot protect your constitution? How can you have a president who, in this instance, in defrauding the people of South Africa of millions and millions of rands, has failed to, in fact, look after the resources of the country, undermine the constitution, and in our view, it's a serious violation of the constitution.
But where does this leave you as a party that wants to impeach him? You've used this impeachment tactic before. It's failed a number of times. The National Assembly has a 2/3 ANC majority. Where to from here for the DA?
Well, I tabled this morning with the Speaker of the National Assembly a motion to impeach the president, which is different to a motion of no confidence. That requires a simple majority and for members to vote. This says we deem it a serious violation of the Constitution. It's up to the ANC to disprove that fact. What is crystal clear subsequent to the judgment is that you can't have Jacob Zuma and the Constitution in one parliament. One of them has to be protected or one has to be sacrificed. So the ANC has to decide whether they'll protect the Constitution or protect Jacob Zuma. As a member of parliament, I take an oath to protect the Constitution of the Republic. That is the reason why I'm tabling this motion of impeachment, because I say you can't have a president who has violated the Constitution, as the judgment today clearly outlines. And therefore I'm compelled to say I must move to have the president impeached. And I would hope the ANC members recognize the gravity of the actions that President Jacob Zuma has taken. Certainly for the people of South Africa, the court judgment today is a significant one, as it indicates the separation of powers, the authority of the Constitution, but also their call that no leader is above the law. And that's what the fight we've been on about since the Western Cape High Court, the Supreme Court of Appeal, and now the Concourt. It's now to the ANC, to Parliament itself, who were found against today, to actually process it properly, to uphold the Constitution, and to stand in saying this is what is necessary to remove President Zuma from office, because we can't have a leader who can't protect us.
But isn't that highly paradoxical in itself? You're going to the National Assembly to ask the very people who have been found guilty today in this court of violating the Constitution to do the right thing.
I would want for Parliament to be able to redeem itself in this regard. As you know, today was an affirmation of the independence of the judiciary. The separation of powers outlines that Parliament has a strong role to hold the executive to account. If the ANC, in their numbers, then choose to protect President Zuma, it is clear that they are no longer protecting South Africans. That's why I'm going to the institution to say, you must stand to your constitutional obligation to hold Jacob Zuma to account, and we want Jacob Zuma to be impeached, not only for the fact that he's violated this, but for the sake of South Africa. It's a crucial matter that we are able to take this country in the right direction. We focus on the crucial issues of the economy, etc., and we can't have a leader who can't defend our Constitution at the top.
But without a secret ballot, although some analysts are saying the president has been weakened within his own party, you surely can't believe that the ANC will openly vote in this kind of motion against their own president. And what if you fail? What will be the next step?
The ANC has recalled President Thabo Mbeki, for lesser reasons than what this judgment was. They relied on Judge Nicholson's judgment, which only found a different matter to what President Zuma has done here. It's incumbent upon the ANC caucus to say, if you take your oath seriously, then defend the Constitution. That must be tested. And if they fail to do that, then each one of the members of that caucus who will vote in defense of Zuma are in fact liable of violating the Constitution. Then we must all know as South Africans that in fact the ANC is no longer the defender of the Constitution, but the defenders of Zuma. But that's not the only thing we can do. South Africans out there are quite clear that they must recognize that this is a moment in time where they can pick whether at the polls they are going to vote for a party that does not care about the Constitution, and that they can and vote out the ANC. But furthermore, we will be engaging stakeholders in South Africa to say this is an opportunity for all of us to reclaim South Africa and put it first, that the very country that Jacob Zuma wants to put second.
Mmusi Maimane, dear leader, thank you so much for coming in to talk to us. He is, of course, commenting on the consequences of that Constitutional Court judgment this morning.